Well, new developments today with the scandal that broke last week about the Government Services Administration conference in Vegas. This is a group that's supposed to be bargaining on federal contracts to keep the costs down. Instead, they held a conference for just some of their employees, 300 out in Vegas, that cost the taxpayers more than $800,000 dollars for some 300 federal workers to have a good time from the look of it. And we're getting a look at some of that good time through more ridiculous mocking videos, including this one with the angry office clown.
You know, it takes a lot of energy to get through the entire conference call without getting a smoke.
Hey, we're trying to call you on the conference call.
Oh, whatever.
9 o'clock, 9 a.m.
Whatever.
Come on, get with it.
Okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah, you get the picture. Well, it should be taxpayers who are angry. You're the ones paying for that. Later on, the clown says, government, if you think the problems we create are bad, just wait until you see our solutions. The Obama administration has come out and criticized these videos and the shocking spending, but now is suggesting that we look to the Bush administration if we really want to lay the appropriate blame here. Loretta Doan was the GSA administrator under President George W. Bush. Loretta, thank you so much for being here. So,
glad to be here, Megyn.
The statement from the Obama administration is, at least we have taken the bold, swift, forceful action to hold those responsible accountable and put in place protections to make sure this never happened again. If Bush administration folks had acted under their watch, the 2010 debacle could have been avoided, and they had provided these numbers and are pointing to this as justification for their new position that it is the Bush administration to blame. And I want to show the numbers. They say in 2004, this conference in Portland of the GSA was $93,000. By 2006, when you were running the joint, it had ballooned to $323,000. And then 2 years later, it was up more than double. More than double to $655,000, leading us to 2010 when it was up to $840,000. They say most of that ballooning happened under George W. Bush, not under Barack Obama. Your thoughts?
Megyn, first of all, it's just so clear that the Obama administration is in crisis mode. So where to begin? First, I question the numbers, and I'd love to see a line item breakdown of what's in each of these numbers. I'm not going to just trust them out the gate. Secondly, just looking at the locations of the conference, it looks like they've confused what is a local regional conference with conferences that were nationwide, which had more than, 300 people at them. Some of them had several thousands of people at them. So I think they're comparing apples to oranges. But what I think you see really is once again an Obama administration attempt to divert attention from these troubling videos, because when you look at the videos, some of them talk about things like BA 61, BA 54, and the average American may not be aware of this, but these are categories of budget authorities. These are budget spending allocation line items that cover renovations, building projects, infrastructure, sustainability, stimulus spending. And to hear GSA employees or any federal government employee making a joke about wasting taxpayer money at a time when we have so many Americans who are out of work is a real travesty.
I want to get, listen, you had troubles when you were running this agency as well that were well publicized. Gretchen Carlson asked you about them this morning on Fox and Friends, and that video is posted online right now if our viewers care to get into it.
Yes, but I would like to say one thing. The guy who made the investigator who made the allegations against me actually pleaded guilty to making false statements to Congress. So okay, it's a little bit different.
But listen, the reason it seems like the Obama administration is pointing to you and other GSA administrators under President Bush because they want to talk about the ballooning costs of these conferences, which is where I took it with you. I do want to talk about the cost of the Obama conference, the conference under President Obama. This is one region, the Southwest region, 300 employees get together. And just so our viewers know, look at a couple of the costs. Average breakfast for the employees out there, this is each federal employee, $44. Who spends $44 on breakfast when you're traveling on your company dime? They rented tuxedos on our dime to the tune of almost $400 because they needed a few guys to dress up in tuxedos. Really? We had to pay for that? Think about you and your family. I mean, there are 22 million Americans who are either underemployed or unemployed right now. We're paying for these people to dress up in tuxedos. And one in-room party was almost $1,000. Another in-room party, almost $2,000. Another in-room party, almost $3,000. The list goes on. They wanted everybody out there to get a yearbook of their little trip. That cost the taxpayers $8,100, over $8,000 so they could have a yearbook. Canteens, commemorative canteens, almost $3,000 of taxpayer money. Coins for staff in velvet boxes. We had to have them in velvet boxes. $6,300. Some of the managers wanted little vests. They wanted a little sweater vest, so we had to pay $2,000 for that. And not just that, Larita, but when they went out there to scout the trip in Vegas, not only did they scout at the M Hotel, which provided them with these incredible two-story lofts, but of course they had to stay at the Ritz-Carlton because they considered having the whole event out there. I mean, my head's about to explode. You tell me how out of line this is.
Megyn, so is mine. None of these costs are justifiable. They're just way out of control. This is not what GSA is about. GSA is about saving the American taxpayers' money and getting the very best bargain on behalf of the American people. And that is not what's happening. And for Obama to try to blame this poor management, poor leadership on the Bush administration is absolutely abominable. He should be so ashamed of himself.
What can be done? What can be done about this now?
I think it starts, of course, with leadership. But when you get down to it, GSA has abused the trust of the American people, and they're going to have to earn it back. And that's going to be really hard. But I'll tell you, in business, you say what is monitored and measured is managed. And I think that's what's going to have to happen. There's going to have to be a lot closer watching on the expenditures at GSA.
Do you blame these workers, or do you blame their managers, or both?
I blame both, because we are all adults and each of us has to take responsibility for our actions. But my heart breaks to think that at this agency we could have GSA employees who are making jokes about wasting building funds and then have managers approving these videos and then even giving awards for making these kinds of negative, morale demoralizing videos. It's just heartbreaking for the American people.
Larita, thank you.
Thank you, Megyn.